other majors can belittle your major, you didn't have the talent for it, otherwise you would have been a creative writing major yourself. So if it's that easy, why didn't you just become a major yourself and then just have an easy life? I don't know. Oh, I'm science, I'm technology, I'm engineering, I'm math, I know everything and you know nothing, so I'm more important than you. Like, no, no, no. Hi, welcome back. So, in today's video, I'm going to be talking about what they don't tell you about being a liberal arts major. And if you couldn't tell, I'm a liberal arts major. I'm an English major with a concentration in creative writing. I'm also minoring in film studies. So, I'm all the creativeness that you can get. There's a lot. In the 3 years I've been in school, I've learned a lot. And also, there's a lot of just like... Let's just get into the video.
Put your head on my shoulder.
The first thing I'm going to talk about, I have a little book here. First thing I'm going to talk about is people will tell you not to get your hopes and dreams up. My first creative writing workshop class, the professor that I had, genuinely nice guy. I loved him as a professor. He was a good professor. Got an A- in the class, so thanks for that. But he was basically saying how you want to be a writer, it's going to be really hard, and that one time he got like $20 just to publish like one piece of writing that he got. It's like a lot of rejection when you don't make it, a lot of disappointment in life, and that's not something you want to hear when you're trying to be a writer yourself. Like, I personally, I would love to be a novelist and a screenwriter and just dealing with the film industry and just like the book publishing industry as well, when your main goal is to be successful and being creative and having your creative pieces out to the world and hopefully they're liking it. It's kind of fair, like, you know, you don't want to have people thinking about only the good things and not the negative, but most of the time I feel like when people talk about it, they mostly talk about the negative because it's like they either themselves didn't succeed, so that it's like when you don't be successful and being a successful novelist, you become a professor, and it's like those who can't do teach. Because you couldn't be successful yourself, you're going to teach someone else how to be successful, but then you're telling them that their success may rarely ever come because it's really hard to do so in the first place. And it's like, you don't want to like sugarcoat things, but like giving only the negative realities of being a writer isn't the best way how to do it either. If you're like set in your goal, like I'm going to be a writer no matter what, then like it won't affect you. But if you're a person that's like, you're just finding out in college that you want to be a writer and then you hear that news, it's going to be kind of unsettling, and it might make you want to like change your mind and like be like, maybe I shouldn't like just take a risk and try to be a writer and just settle for something else that I'm less passionate about. Depending on where you are and your passion for like writing or like whatever creative aspect you're trying to do, it can be very sad to hear that like someone who also had the same dreams as you, because they didn't succeed themselves that much, that like they're like, oh, you may not be successful because, you know, it's really hard to do. Like, I tried and it didn't really work out for me. And I'm just like, okay, that's great and all, but you don't have to be a Debbie Downer about it. Like, sheesh, you could give some positive outlet to it. Like, all right. But yeah, like when I heard that, I was like, oh, okay. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna stop trying to be a writer because of it, but it's just like, what was the point of that? Like, why tell me that? I don't understand. The second thing is other majors can belittle your major. I personally haven't had someone come up to me and tell me that my major isn't as important as theirs, but they think just because you're doing because if you're a science major and then you're talking to your creative writing friend, you're like, oh, but my work is more important, my work is more harder than yours, all you gotta do is write a story. And it's just like, first of all, it isn't as easy as you're making it seem. Like, yeah, I have to just write a story, but there's a lot of things that go into writing that story, because it has to be a story, but it has to be a good story that has a plot, has characters, and like there's structure to it. Just like your experiment has a lot of procedures and steps to it, so does my story. Like, just because it may seem easy to do, like, you have to have talent. If you don't have talent, it's gonna be hard to do. So clearly you didn't have the talent for it, otherwise you would have been a creative writing major yourself. So if it's that easy, why didn't you just become a major yourself and then just have an easy life? I don't know. I saw this TikTok of a STEM major girl, and she was talking about how people that are like liberal arts majors, they complain about how they had to read 100 pages and like how they had to do a lot of work. But then she's like, oh, like I haven't slept in 3 weeks because of my homework, and like how like you think your problems are important, but yet my problems are way more severe than yours. So like I don't even know why you're complaining in the first place. And it's like, I'm pretty sure the TikTok could have been a joke, but then she was like also saying how like, oh, liberal arts, like dare I say, like liberal arts, even the major, like, oh, it's a disgrace of a major. And I'm just like, Why was that necessary to be said? I mean, like I said, I could be taking it way too sensitive because I'm a liberal arts major myself. I took offense to it because it's just like, I understand you're making a joke if it was a joke about like being a liberal arts major and you being a STEM major, but like you don't need to belittle my major because your major's hard. Like last time I checked, we're both struggling with just two different things. Like I'm struggling with being a creative person, with being like trying not to be in writer's block, and you're trying to figure out how to save the world and like do all this other stuff. Just because you think your work is more important doesn't mean you should tell me that my work is less important and that like I shouldn't be complaining about anything. Like I feel like that's just like saying like, oh, if you're complaining about like your life, it's like, oh well, people in Africa are starving. It's like, don't belittle my problems and belittle my majors because you think yours is more important. And also like the fact that you think your major is more important than mine, just those type of person that you are in general, because like no one's major is more important than the other. Yeah, you may have more work and you can make more money, but that doesn't mean yours is more important, because last time I checked, if it was more important, you'll be paying way more money than I am. But like if we go to the same college, I'm pretty sure we're paying the same amount of money unless we have different financial issues. I don't get it. I really don't get it. I just don't like it when people think they're better than others just because of their majors. And not saying all of them, but it's a lot of STEM majors that think that too, specifically because they're like, oh, I'm science, I'm technology, I'm engineering, I'm math, I know everything and you know nothing, so I'm more important than you. Like, no. Last time I checked, you still want to go to the movies, right? Who do you think writes those movies? Last time I checked, you still like to read books, right? Who do you think writes those books? Last time I checked, you need me to entertain yourself from your boring life, so I don't understand why you think you're more important than me. I don't get it. Like, I don't get it. I really don't. So please enlighten me and tell me why you think you're more important than me, but yet you need my talent to entertain your life. I'm just saying, liberal arts majors, mostly when it comes to like art, creative writing, or film, they get the most crap about their major because it's harder to be successful. It's a once in like kind of like 1 in a million chance of you being successful, making money off of it and making good money off of it. So when you're trying to just like learn to be creative and learn to better your skills, like you're looked down upon because it's like, oh, what are you gonna do with your major? And it's like, what are you gonna do with your major? Be a doctor? That's great. The next thing, there are a lot of options for jobs, but not a lot of them can fill what you want. Now, that sounds confusing, but what I mean by that is being an English major, there are a lot of jobs open in that area. I'm taking this off. There are a lot of jobs that like you can be with an English major, but it's like depending on like what you want to do with your life, it can be very hard like having all these options but then having none of them fit what you want to do with life. Like me, I want to work in the film industry. I want to like work on film sets. I want to write films. I also want to write books, hopefully books that become films. Like I want to do like creative projects and make them and make money off of them, obviously. So like having a 9-to-5 job that fills that passion of it, it's like it's very small and rare and hard to find for me personally. So it's like you don't want to have a job that doesn't fulfill your passion. There's a lot of options out there, or sometimes there are no options out there, but it's just hard to pick out which ones you want to do with your life that'll actually make you happy. The next thing is the life of a writer can be lonely. What I mean by lonely, I don't mean by like you have to be in a room 24/7 writing your book and then when people give you something like you're like the process of doing it yourself, unless you're like co-writing with someone, it's often just you thinking to yourself about what you want your story to be. And that's often when you either like alone, you have to spend that time, you have to like discipline yourself to be like, okay, I'm gonna write 10 pages today, I'm gonna do it at this time. You have to learn how to do things on your own up until you get to the part where you're doing drafts and you have editors and agencies and like selling your books and stuff like that. Like the majority, the beginning stages of being a writer is very lonely because you have to think about your writing system for yourself. The last thing that I'm going to say is being successful can be a hit or miss. Now that's kind of going back to the point where I was saying the first time how my professor was saying that like being a writer, a successful writer is really hard because you can do all this work for a piece and only get $20 out of it if you're posting on a magazine, or if you want to publish books, it can be unsuccessful. Talent is good, but connections are what really gets you around the world, because if you have the talent, sometimes it's a 1 in a million chance where you can become successful just based off your talent alone. You can have the talent, but with connections you can get even farther in life. But in order to have that connections, you have to find people that have the connections and network yourself, you know, from whatever jobs you get, and like finding the right people. You don't know who's a good person, who's not a good person, so it's like really strategic and working your way through your industry, whether it's film or writing or whatever industry you want to do. So it's very hard to do that, and it's kind of a long process. But like some people, they can like get the connections really quickly if they have the privilege of that, or they have to work their butts off for like years and years, and they finally have one connection that gets them to be successful. But it's like there's a lot of people that try to be writers and then they become unsuccessful. But then there's some people that become writers and publish books but then still aren't successful enough to where they can just do writing alone. You can be a published author but still have a 9-to-5 5 job because you need it. That's my little 6 points about what they don't tell you about being a liberal arts major. My main thing was just talking about the whole comparison of like college students comparing their problems to yours because of your major. I just find it very like stupid how you think because of your major you're better than someone else. Like when people make statements like that, it's just ignorance because they're not aware of how hard those majors actually are, because they're too busy trying to save the world through their science. And it's just like, we get it, you're smart, but like I'm not smart because I'm a liberal arts major. Like, you know, before you just try to say that, oh, all you do is film or all you do is write to like your friend that isn't a writing major or minor, or just to anyone in general, before you say something ignorant as that, just think about what you're saying. And if you generally don't know what it's like to be in that major, ask, and ask in a way that isn't disrespectful. I just don't like it when people belittle others because of them wanting to be creative. Last time I checked, creativity is necessary in life, because without movies, without books, how would we entertain ourselves? With each other? Sis, that can only go but so far. Being a liberal arts major, you get the most crap out of people that go to college because it's like you're taking the risk of being creative as a job. That is it for today's video. This video has gone on long enough, and I could be being sensitive about that TikTok, but I'm just like, that just shows you how people think about your major, and it's just very upsetting because it's not the first time people have talked down upon creative writing majors and minors, and film majors and minors, and art people as well. Because also, like, another thing that I heard, like, I had a conversation with my friends about how it's dumb when people go to school to learn art. How are you to judge someone because they want to go to school to learn? He's like, oh, you don't have to go to school to be a painter. He's like, yeah, but you might want to go to school to the whole purpose of college is to develop your skills and what you want to learn. So it's like, why is it dumb for someone to want to go to school to be a better artist, like a painter? Oh, because then they're not going to be successful in life. And it's like, so my idea of success and your idea of success can be two different things. But just because I'm not successful in the world doesn't mean I'm not successful in general. So like, I don't like it when people like do stuff like that, because it's just like, who are you to say how successful they're going to be in their lives? Like, don't do that. I just don't like that. I really don't like that, because it's like, that's not okay. Okay, so my camera's gonna stop recording soon, so that's it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, please smash the thumbs up button and subscribe, because this is a new channel. And if you are also relating to me, you can leave some comments down below whether you agree or disagree, and please be nice and don't be disrespectful, because hate comments are not needed. So yeah, my social medias will be down in the description box below. I have a Snapchat, Instagram, and Twitter, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.